welcome to Bug Eye Guys, where today we're going to talk a little about rear hubs. These are not available new, so you want to take good care of these. We have used ones, but they are all often enjoying the same problem, and that problem is that the outer race will freewheel. They wear on the outside of this diameter in this area, and sometimes you'll see that the bearing is spun so that this area is no longer gripping the bearing. You can dimple this face to add a little bit of friction to hold these in, but it's something you want to look out for. And in particular, the other big common problem we run into, this is a brand new bearing, which we sell in our catalog. And you may want to stock these in your spare parts bin because they all seem to be failing about now. We're going to put a video in this video of another really noisy bearing that we're spinning. You should be able to see it now, just kind of whirring away. But in the case of this one, it's very notchy. In fact, it's sticking right there. There's just a lot of dirt in there, but the races get damaged. It's a pretty elemental ball bearing setup that just is not gonna, I don't think they ever intended this to last almost 70 years, so new rear bearings are not terribly expensive and cheap insurance. When you take them out, you'll be mindful that this outer race can spin. One other thing that's of note on this particular little video that I hadn't seen before, if you look carefully, you should be able to see there's a groove cut right by my fingernail. And if you look at this hub, there's a slight ledge in the casting, but on this one, it's actually cut like it was lathe turned. You see right by my thumb, there's a little depression. And what actually happened here, interestingly enough, is that this brake spring was installed incorrectly. You should be able to see right by my finger here is a divot. This was like a piano wire cutting into this hub, right, like so, sawing away as the hub spun around. And that's all because this spring was mounted. This is a brake shoe spring from a later Sprite back plate. This is the twin setup, twin piston setup that came on later Sprites and Midgets. So it has a larger spring. The Bug Eyes have the smaller rear spring. But the key distinction here is that the spring has to be installed correctly, because if you get it 180 degrees out or on the front instead of on the back, you will turn this into a weapon that will be binding on your hub. So just make sure once you rebuild all this and put the brakes on top of all this, that you don't have an interference between the spring and the hub, no matter which configuration of rear brakes you have. The other really important thing to talk about while we're looking at these parts is these studs. Most of the time, not maybe, many times I will say, we have been having, there's my finger, we've been having thread issues because people over torque their lug nuts. They're supposed to be torqued to 38 pounds. And again, after almost 70 years, you could argue that these are stretched and should be changed just for safety. So they're not very big, they don't take a lot of torque, and very few shops, or modern shops, are used to something that's held on at 38 pounds in the lug nut department. So we see a lot of damage and we sell a lot of these studs. So we have all those pieces in our catalog. You probably, if you're taking off your rear wheels, at some point you're going to need this kit, which is the oil seal and the O-ring that goes in this groove. These oil seals will leak and they need to be installed properly. And speedy sleeves are sometimes needed on the rear axle assemblies so that you have a nice smooth surface. All of that has to be set up properly for your rear wheels to be doing their thing correctly. We have all those parts here at Bug Eye Guys.